Well, well. Shopping for a car?
Yep, Carvana made financing a car as smooth as can be.
Oh, yeah?
I got pre-qualified instantly and had real terms personalized just for me.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
Well, I got to browse thousands of car options on Carvana, all within my budget.
Doesn't get much smoother than that.
It does. I actually wanted a car that seemed out of my range, but I was able to add a cosigner and found my dream car.
It doesn't get much...
Oh, it gets smoother. It's getting delivered tomorrow.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get pre-qualified today.
Showtime. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Ready.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
Jeff, all he does is watch the Guardians and sleep.
Jeff Lutz.
I want to win.
Oh, yeah.
And Jason Duda. For today, anyway.
Sports, we need to be up to date with exactly what's going on at the time.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Don't touch that dial.
It is hour number 2, the Bob and Jeff Show on KFH Radio. We're joined by Hunter Flanagan, who, Hunter, welcome. How are you? I'm gonna have you explain how this happened. Here's Hunter Flanagan.
That was quick.
Just like that.
What's going
that
on,
couldn't
boys?
have been worse. Hey, Hunter, welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Can you guys hear me all right?
We got you. So I've tried to explain. Tell us how you ended up getting into this position where you're on a show with Jeff, Jason, and of course me.
Well, it started with a chicken and pickle event for League 42. So great organization. They had a raffle there, and this happened to be one of the items, and I guess I was the lucky winner.
How much change were you able to dig out of your pocket to win this?
Oh, you know.
Yeah, Hunter, what?
That's a question you don't need to answer.
You know what?
Yeah.
You can answer that question, but you can also say, who the hell are you?
Speaking of which, Hunter, who the hell are you?
There was a couple zeros at the end. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to say how many, but there were. There were a few.
.00.
Well, Hunter, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm from Andover. Grew up there. Went to Andover Central. Graduated. Went to Pittsburgh State University down there in southeast Kansas, where there wasn't much going on, but some football games and some bars to go to. So went there, had the time of my life, and back in Wichita, working, doing the adult life now.
All right, good deal. We all love the adult life.
No, we don't all love the adult life on certain days.
Well, on certain days, but today's not one of those days.
No.
Oh,
probably not.
I couldn't ask for a better day today.
So, Hunter, how old are you?
I'm 24 years old.
24. So you probably don't have recollection of our good friend Jason Duda on the ice for the Wichita Thunder. Would that be an accurate statement or not?
Oh, I have been to numerous Thunder games growing up. Heck, I went to the games before they were at Interest there, when they were playing at the Coliseum, and then when they were at Hartman for a couple of years. So I had an old Lance Galbraith jersey back in the day. I know exactly who Jason Duda is, and I'm excited he's on here today. This is awesome.
Did you do you like the games out at the Coliseum better, or do you like the ones at the Interest, or are you kind of either way they're fine?
I don't remember the games as well at the Coliseum because I was probably in like elementary school when they were there, so I don't remember them as much. But I will say, I love going to the games at Interest now.
Well, that's fantastic. I like this guy.
Well, he's a hockey guy.
Well, I like him.
Yeah. So if you had, let's say, what question would you want to ask Jason Duda? What is there about him that you got? Do you have a question for him?
I don't have a question specifically for him, but I have one in the realms of this. So I feel like when I was growing up going to games, there was a heck of a lot more fighting, and I feel like it's kind of fallen off. I mean, are we really training these guys for NHL and kind of focusing more on that, and it's not as much throwing punches every period, or what?
Yeah, the game has changed. There's no question about it, and that happened with all the head injuries and just about all the other sports that that has come about. So they haven't taken it out of hockey, but they don't, like before they used to. I mean, I used to go to games and you'd have a fight and people would say, hey, well, there was a hockey game too, but we go to see the fights. It was just a little different in the 90s than it is nowadays. So that's all it is that they're just trying to protect the players. And there isn't as many fights as there was. There's no question about that. Especially if you were going to the games out at the Coliseum when I was playing. I mean, that's all we used to do. That's just the way it was. It was entertaining, and that's what the guys like to do. The rivalries that we had with Oklahoma City and Tulsa, Bossier, Shreveport, on that side of it, you despise those guys. So there was a lot of emotion in those games, and so there was a lot more fighting as well. So I think that's the biggest thing that they've taken out of it. And the other side of it is too, and especially I think now, say in Wichita, back when I was playing, you had guys like myself and Travis Clayton who were here for well over 10 years ourselves, and you'd go to Oklahoma City and you got Joe Burton and Tyler Fleck and all these guys that were there for over 10 years. You go to Tulsa and you got Doug Lawrence who was there, who everybody despised. You go to Shreveport and you got Dan Wildflong and McPherson and Quade Lightbody. So you had all these other guys that were there for so long that everybody else knew, and you knew exactly what was going to happen. Whereas nowadays, with Wichita and their affiliation, which is fantastic, you don't have the guys that stick around for as long in the exact same place. So your rivalries, although you might think that you have one, they're not as strong as they were 25 years ago in the Central Hockey League.
Right. There was a little more bad blood back in the days, it sounds like.
Way more because of that, because you knew guys and fans knew guys, and people when we would play Tulsa, we weren't playing Tulsa, we were playing Doug Lawrence because we knew Doug Lawrence was coming to town. It was the same thing when we went on the road. Travis Clayton and Jason Duda were there, or Sean O'Reilly was there, the guys that were here for a long time. So I think that's probably the biggest difference now, especially when it comes to the fighting aspect of it. There's you just don't know as many guys, and so you haven't built up that hatred with teams, and you don't see them quite as often. I think that's probably the biggest thing, besides the fact that with all the head injuries and stuff, the rules are a little bit different now. You can't just fight 3 times a game. You fight a couple times and you're kicked out. So I think those are probably the biggest things when it comes to the fighting aspect of it in hockey.
Man, that's the most I've ever heard Duda talk.
I need a nap.
I hit a sore spot there for him, I think.
Oh, it wasn't not a sore spot, but that's just kind of the way it's went. All the games have changed. Jeff brought up earlier with baseball. They're trying to shorten it. They're implementing new rules. And so a lot of the sports are doing that. NFL, I mean, quarterbacks might as well be wearing a red jersey out there because you can't hit them. If you touch them and they go down, you're getting a flag.
Is fighting ever not going to be a part of the game then, do you think? Do you think there's ever going to be a day where that happens?
I don't think they'll ever take it out. If they were to take it out fully, I think that they would lose a lot of fans. And plus, the one thing with hockey was it's always been policed by the players. There's that unwritten rule in hockey. If you do this or if you take advantage of a guy's top player, there's going to be consequences, and not only consequences for the guy that did it, but then you're going to go after their best players. So there's always been a bit of policing when it comes to hockey.
All right, Hunter Flanagan with us. What? I don't even know where to go after that. Hunter, when we were talking and you were telling me something about yourself, you mentioned that you're from Wisconsin, the Milwaukee area, that you're a fan of the Packers, the Bucks, the Brewers. How did you end up in Kansas? And then I'm going to try to get you off this Brewers nonsense.
So all of my family's from up there in Wisconsin. Still got grandparents, aunts, uncles, sister, her family. So I got a lot of ties there. But ultimately, my dad was in the military, which brought him to McConnell Air Force Base, which is kind of what set up shop for us here in Wichita. And I liked it here, and I stayed. Well,
good. So of those teams I mentioned, the Packers, the Bucks, the Brewers. Rate them 1 through 3 in your level of passion for them.
Oh, well, it depends on the season a little bit. I would say ultimately, though, Packers are number one. They got a big piece of my heart. I'd probably say the Brewers at number 2. I've been following them a lot, more intensely and longer. And then the Bucks 3, because I hate to say it, but the last few years I've started to pay a lot more attention than when I used to when I was a kid. So I'd say Packers, then Brewers, then Bucks.
Makes sense.
The fact that you're here in Wichita now, has any of the teams around this area rubbed off on you? Do you watch any?
No.
I mean, you don't have a choice if you don't have the NFL package. You can't watch the Packers every week.
Well, so no, I have not been rubbed off by any teams here. It actually used to be a rule in my household that until you were 18, you could not cheer for any other team until you got out of my parents' roof. So I grew up that way. I cannot say I have grown fond of any other team, and I do have the NFL package and Sunday ticket and Red Zone, so I can watch the Packers every week.
You did tell me that you've become a fan of the Shockers, and they have a big game tonight, a very interesting game up in Kansas City against Kansas State. We're going to pick that game when we get to our weekly picks here momentarily. But how do you feel about the Shockers and K-State tonight?
So I love going to Shocker basketball games. You're correct. I mean, they're great games to go to. Love going to them. I think, and we'll get into it, like you said, with the picks later, but I love the way the Shocks are matching up against these guys tonight. And I'm going to put a lot of my money on them tonight. I think they're going to come out on top. I really do.
Put a lot of his money on it, dudes.
Well,
I told you I like this guy.
I say a lot of money. It's probably not a lot for you guys, but.
Well, especially not for Duda. Many millions of dollars from those years with the Thunder.
Oh yeah, I raked it in, boy. Let me tell you.
So, what is it you'd like? What is it you'd like to talk about, Hunter? What kind of questions do you have? What kind of thoughts do you have about sports or anything else?
Well, I am caught up right now in the NFL because obviously my Packers have really fallen off the last couple weeks here, and it has taken a toll on me. So I'm focusing a lot of my energy on what we need to do to find the way to the playoffs right now. I don't know if you guys are Chiefs fans or where you guys fall on that table, but it is eating me alive right now.
I don't really have a team in the NFL at the moment.
Oh, I thought you were a Chiefs guy now.
I tried it with the Raiders, and they took years off my life. I don't mind the Chiefs, but to call me a fan of the Chiefs would be a little bit crazy. So I certainly like the Chiefs more than I've ever liked the Chiefs. I didn't care for them at all. But because
why no?
But because they have Mahomes and Kelsey and Taylor Swift and
Taylor
Andy Reid.
Swift.
Yeah.
Come on. Just
like
stop. That's terrible to say.
What do you mean? I like it.
Because of Taylor Swift. Just stop.
Let me ask you a question, Hunter. You've been a Packers fan a long time. Where are you on not Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers? Do you like him? Do you despise him? Are you somewhere in the middle? How do you feel about him?
It would be impossible for me to not like that guy after everything he did for our organization. And in my lifetime, I had only seen 2 quarterbacks, which not a lot of people can say, play for the Packers. I grew up with Brett Favre and then Aaron Rodgers. So I love Aaron Rodgers. I was sad to see him go. I think it was time, though, for him to leave. But the last thing I wanted to do was see him injured. I mean, I wanted him to go out and play for the Jets and maybe win like 5 games and, then retire and just call it a year, come back to the Packers and retire. But, I mean, I like the guy. It's just I think Jordan Love he's our guy now, though, so we're moving forward with him.
Talking with Hunter Flanagan. He's here as a co-host, winning making a bid on a package to co-host the Bob and Jeff show here on KFH. You mentioned the Packers. They won consecutive games against the Chargers, Lions, and Chiefs. Everything looked hunky-dory. Then losses to the Giants and Buccaneers, which leaves them in an auspicious spot right now for the playoffs. They do have the Panthers, Vikings, and Bears left to play. Duda, you like the Packers' chances to get into the playoffs or no?
No, I
didn't pick them
don't,
yesterday,
but they should win this week at the Panthers.
Well, we thought they should have won against the Giants.
Well, I agree, but they should win against the Panthers. But then they got to go to Minnesota. That's going to be tough. And those division games are always tough. Then they're home against the Bears. If they can squeak out that win at Minnesota, then that Chicago game might be a spot where they're fighting. If they win that, they'll finish 9-8.
We're trying to give you some hope, Hunter.
They got a chance there, but it's going to be tough. At Minnesota's tough, and then the Bears are playing a lot better. That defense is playing a lot better too. So they need to get by Carolina this weekend. If they don't do that, then it doesn't matter.
No response from Hunter. You still there, Hunter?
Oh, I'm still here. It's a one game at a time.
That's a typical
right
reaction
now
to Duda, by the way.
It's a one game at a time for these guys. But yeah, the Panthers, they got to take care of business. I do not like where the defense has been at the last 2 weeks. I really thought that was the issue. I mean, I think the offense is good enough to win these ball games, but it's just a matter of giving up 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and, giving up those games we should have won. So I think as long as the defense can come out and play, take it one game at a time, I think all 3 of these games are winnable games and we should win. So I guess we'll just see.
Well, the other side of it is too, and obviously not to make it sound worse than it is, but it doesn't look like Watson or Reed are going to play this weekend, which will make it tough. So that defense is going to have to play, because I got a feeling this is going to be a low-scoring game, which means that if you got the ball at the end of the game, you're going to have a chance to win it.
Right.
So before we go to break, do you have anything you want to ask us? You already asked Duda about fighting. You got a big answer from him. Anything else interest you?
No, I think I'm ready to go into some of these picks. I'm interested to see what you guys got to say for the game tonight, and we'll go forward.
Well, we're picking 3 in the college ranks, 5 in the NFL, and then we're picking tonight's Wichita State K-State game. We'll take a break. We'll come back and make our picks next.
Bob and Jeff Show on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
All right, we're going to make our picks. Hunter Flanagan joins us. He's here today as a guest host after making a bid to make it happen at a League 42 event earlier this year. All right, Max, let's hear the music. We begin in college football, Louisville, USC. Which bowl is this?
Holiday.
The Holiday Bowl. Of course it is. The Holiday Bowl. USC getting 7.5 points. I'm not sure that they have a full team ready to play in this one, which is obviously a huge issue with bowl games, growing by the year. We start with me. I'm going to pick Louisville inside that number for 3. Jeff?
Outside that number, right?
I'm picking Louisville for 3.
These picks are brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and the official sports betting partner of KFH. I've got, I don't think USC has a quarterback. Didn't their backup leave? Or I don't know what's going on over there. So I'm going to take Louisville for 4.
Duda.
Yeah, with everything going on there, I got to take Louisville as well. I got Louisville for 4.
Not one of the gifts, though.
No, this isn't the gift.
Max.
Yeah, the University of Spoiled Children. Caleb Williams isn't playing. Yeah, I'm going with Louisville for 2. Louisville beat these guys bad.
Even so, none of us really jumping on Louisville for big points. maybe
That's true.
Hunter will. Hunter, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you guys. I'm going to take Louisville, but I'm going to take the 7.5.
What do you say, Jay? I don't know how to. Are you taking Louisville to cover or USC to cover?
I'm taking Louisville minus 7.5.
And how many? Well, I forgot to tell you, we do confidence points. So since we're picking 9 games, you can assign a confidence point to each game, 1 through 9. What's your level of confidence in Louisville?
Oh, I'd give them a 3.
So you're 3 points for Louisville. All right, there goes your 3-pointer. Now you've got 8 more left. A&M versus Oklahoma State in the Texas Bowl. A&M a 2.5-point favorite in that one over the Cowboys. I'm sure I know how Jeff's going to pick in this one.
I hope my Oklahoma State Twitter crew is listening. I've got Texas A&M for 9.
What? That's your gift game, according to Jeff.
None of these are gifts, but you know how it goes.
I don't. What's up with that?
They don't have a coach.
Did not see that coming.
3 points, they'll handle it.
They don't have a coach.
They don't?
Duda.
Yeah, I don't know.
Neither does Oklahoma State.
These bowl games, I'm not a big fan of these, and I have no idea who's going to end up playing, not playing. So I'll take Oklahoma State for 1.
Max, how do you feel about this one?
Yeah, I'm with Duda on this. I'm going OSU for 1.
Hunter, what is your level of confidence, and who are you picking here?
I like Oklahoma State in this game. I really do. So I'm going to give them 2 points.
2 points confidence-wise. This is a very difficult. Like Duda said, these are all hard. I think A&M covers this. I just don't know about. A lot of times you never know how a team's going to react in a bowl game. I think A&M will try to. I don't know. I expect them to play well. A&M for 4. Finally, KU UNLV in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. That game being played next Tuesday. UNLV getting 12.5 points. We start with Duda. This is one of his gift games.
Isn't it crazy that it says guarantee in the bowl title? Guarantee. So you know what that means. I'm taking KU for 6.
Really?
Really? That's what you get.
Trying to get back into the good graces of KU Pat, huh?
Well, I guess so. KU Pat, we're back.
Why would you pick that? Why would you pick KU to cover 12.5?
I think KU will play. They'll play their guys. Their guys will play hard. I don't know much about UNLV, so I'm taking KU for 6.
Max.
It's a lot of points. I can't believe Dude is going with KU. I'm sticking with UNLV for 3.
Well, I'm 0 for with KU all year,
That's
so
true.
who knows?
Hunter, what are your thoughts on this one? Biggest spread of the week.
I think the boys from Kansas got their mindset on just going out to the strip and having fun, and their focus isn't in this game. I like UNLV, and I'm going to give 3 points on that.
Well, you already used your 3-pointer. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh,
9 is your highest level of confidence.
I'm going to give this one a 7.
7. All right. He makes a good point. The UNLV team is playing in Las Vegas. They're not affected by the bright lights and the nightlife.
Oh, they are.
Whereas KU could be. I don't see KU covering that. I think they win. I'll pick UNLV for 1. Jeff?
You're probably right, but Jason Bean is going to play for KU. We know how good he's been for most of the season. I think KU's the type of team, even after they had a successful year last year, where they want to have another jumping off point to probably an even better year next year. And I don't know if UNLV's at that
How
stage.
can we pick?
I will take KU for 6.
Wow.
Same as Dudes.
He's finally getting on the right page.
Interesting. That will be an interesting one, I guess. Now into the NFL, where we know both teams are going to be trying. Detroit on the road to play the Vikings. Vikings still hanging on to some playoff hope. They are a 3.5-point underdog in this one. We start with Max.
Yeah, the Lions, I think, have righted the ship. You know, they get a great offensive line. I'm taking the Lions for 7 in this one.
Detroit for 7. Hunter, what about you?
You know, I like the Lions in this one, too. They're rolling out their winter whiteout uniforms that they've only wore twice, but I think that's going to got to count for an extra point. So I'm going to go with the Lions, and I'm going to give them 4.
4 points. Confident about the Lions. Yeah, I think I said last week that I expected Detroit was past their swoon. I think they're going to be a team to reckon with. I like them a lot. I think they cover here, and I've got them for 8. Jeff.
Both of these teams have burned me recently. I picked Cincinnati to cover 3.5 against Minnesota last week, and it was a 3-point game. I feel at home Minnesota's probably going to do something similar. I have no confidence. Minnesota for 1.
And what about you, Duda?
Well, Jeff has no confidence, but he should have a little bit more. Getting 3.5. Jared Goff.
3 and what?
3 in the hook.
There you go.
Goff never is good on the road, even though it is in a dome. I like Minnesota here getting a field goal at home. I got Minnesota for 5.
Not the gift, though.
Not the
Congratulations to Max, Hunter, and yours truly. That was an easy one to get.
Oh, here we go.
Cleveland visiting Houston. Both teams exceeding expectations. The Texans are an underdog at home. Cleveland favored by 2.5. Hunter, we start with you on this one.
So I like the Browns in this one. I'm not too confident in it. I think this is going to kind of be a gross game a little bit, how it's played. I think it's going to be kind of low scoring. But I think I'm going to go Browns, and I'm just going to do 1 for them.
1 point for the Browns. Who do I like? Cleveland just finds a way. They never really impress you. But Houston, I like both of these teams. I think they could get into the playoffs, and one of them could make some waves. I'm going to pick, I'm going to pick Houston, and I don't have a lot of confidence, as you can tell, for 2. Jeff.
I feel like Duda and I are going to be aligned on this one, even though he's kind of taught me to not really like picking road favorites, which is what Cleveland is. But Houston doesn't have Stroud, so I'm going to take Cleveland for 8.
Duda.
Exactly. No Stroud. They might have Nico Collins back. Tank Dell's gone. Cleveland's defense is good. Thank you for the gift. Cleveland for 9.
No way.
Easy.
What about you, Max?
Browns defense travels well. I'm taking the Browns for 6.
Boy, I am on an island. Love my Houston Texans.
You won't after this week.
Dallas on the road to face the Miami Dolphins. This is a pick'em game. We'll start with me. I like Miami on this one. In this one, even though Dallas, coming off an embarrassing road game last week, they're just not the same team on the road. I like Miami here for 7. Jeff.
I don't know how Dallas is going to fix the defensive issues that popped up against Buffalo. They just got ran all over. Josh Allen only passed for like 70-some yards. Miami runs it well, too, and throws it well. This feels, Jason, like a gift. Miami for 7.
What about you, Duda?
This one I don't like. This is the game I do not like on this slate. Dallas is not that good on the road, but Miami can't beat anybody that's any good. They just can't. They haven't all year. They look good. Their offense looks good, but if they play anybody that's decent, they can't beat them. I don't like this game at all. This is the one I do not like, but I'm going to take Miami because they're at home for 1 point.
You already used your 1 on OSU.
Then 2.
Miami for 2. Max.
Well, I don't know if you guys have heard, but the entire Miami offensive line was listed on the injury report and not at practice. And Tyreek Hill is probably not going to play. This is simple. Dallas for 9. And I'm no Dallas fan.
Trusting the injury report on.
Well, the entire offensive line is on it and not practicing.
Yeah, because it's late in the year, they don't want to practice. Hunter, what about you?
So you guys mentioned it. The Dolphins are banged up. Don't know who's going to be running the ball most of the game. Tyreek's coming off an injury. He's questionable. And the Cowboys coming off that terrible loss, they had pictures taped of the Cowboys play, or the Cowboys had pictures taped of the Dolphins players on their bags this week when they were doing hitting drills. So I got my money on Dallas, and I'm going to give them 6.
6 points for the Cowboys. Baltimore visiting San Francisco. This could be a preview of the Super Bowl, in my opinion. It's in San Francisco. Who makes this pick?
Me.
Jeff, you've got it. The 49ers favored by 4.5.
This is tough because I feel like Baltimore is going to be really motivated in this game. They feel like the spread is disrespect. But San Francisco is at home, and they're immensely talented. I will take the 49ers for 5.
Is this your next gift, Duda?
Baltimore's pretty decent, but San Francisco is too good. They unless they get a bunch of injuries, this is my pick for the Super Bowl. 4.5 at home, they will cover. Gift number 2, San Francisco for 8.
What about you, Max?
Yep, 49ers have it. You know, Lamar Jackson is basically a running back with the option to throw. Brock Purdy's the man. Plus, you know, McCaffrey and Debo. 49ers for 5.
Hunter.
Well, the Niners they're the team to beat right now, and I've seen my Packers go there and lose countless times in the playoffs and in the NFC Championship. They're just a solid team, and I think I got to go with the 49ers in this game, and I'm going to give them 5.
5 points. I've got the 49ers for all 9. That's my slam dunk of the week. Next, Las Vegas visiting the Chiefs. Kansas City 10.5 point favorites. We start this one with Duda.
Way too many points. Kansas City blew up and scored 27 finally last week, but
and
Oakland
you
could
missed
score
their
17.
you missed their pick.
How'd I do last week anyway?
Not well.
Oh, I think I did okay.
No, I won the week.
I don't know about that. And you need to look again. I was 6-3. Anyways, that's last week. It doesn't matter because this is the last week before Christmas. And you want to see picks after Christmas? Ho, ho, ho. Vegas for 7.
Silly pick. Las Vegas is so bad. Max, where are you with this one? We know where you are.
That's right.
How many points are you going with?
Max Crosby will avenge Bernard Pollard this week. Raiders
Max,
for
I
4.
have a question.
Sure.
Max, I have a question. Why can't you just pick Kansas City to lose?
I don't pick the
Never
Queefs.
mind.
The Twink and the Fat
Don't
Man are
say
not
that.
on my help
Good
list.
Lord.
No,
Please
I don't
stop
care.
that, Max. Please. I'm asking you. Hunter, what do you got?
Well, it depends if Taylor Swift is going to be there. I haven't heard any reports or not. She's been kind of the game changer for him when she's in the house. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with the Raiders, and I'm going to give 8 points.
8 points for the Raiders.
Smart man.
These are your boys, Bob,
I
the
think
Raiders.
I think the Chiefs are. This is a tough one. I have no faith in the Raiders. Coming off a 63-point outing. They could very easily not score in this game. I'm going to pick the Chiefs, and I'm picking them for 5. Jeff?
Too many points. I agree. But who knows? The Raiders scored 0, and then they scored 63. It's impossible to predict, but I will take the Raiders for 3.
All right, by the way, the points right now, I lead in games at 74 and 59. I lead in points at 345. Jeff is next at 320. Max at 316. And Duda at 285. 60 points behind the leader.
Piece of cake.
Wichita State and Kansas State tonight in Kansas City. The Wildcats 5.5-point favorites. I believe we start this one with Max.
In spite of all the trouble with K-State basketball, I think they can cover this. I'll take the Wildcats for 8.
K-State for 8. Hunter, what do you have?
Well, all my buddies here, when we go to Wichita State games, they like to call me Dr. Shocks because I am about 800 or 900% when I'm betting on them at the house. So I got to keep it rolling. I like the Shocks here. I'm not a huge Tang guy with the Wildcats, so I'm going to take the Shocks, and that's my 9-pointer.
That's your 9-point game. No way I could go 9 on this game. I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be an entertaining game, a close game. I'm going to pick Wichita State for 6 to stay within that number.
It's a lot of
I don't know if
points.
they'll win, but I think they'll stay within that number. Jeff.
Two very volatile teams. They could play good. They could play bad. I don't know if both of them will play well tonight, but if one does, I think it'll be Wichita State. So I'll take the Shockers for 2.
Shockers for 2. Finally, Jason Duda.
Yeah, I got my 3-pointer left. I'm going to go with K-State to cover this.
Well, there you go. All right, we made it through. Hunter, thanks so much. I appreciate it. It's been good having you on, and thank you for supporting League 42 in the way you did, and we'll hopefully get to talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. Had a great time, and hey, happy birthday, Jeff. I saw that too.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's
Thanks,
nice
Hunter.
of you. Thank you, Hunter.
Yep.
So I was looking at Twitter, which yesterday I lamented.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But occasionally you come on a nugget that just catches your eye and your jaw drops. Arch Manning, the backup quarterback at the University of Texas.
Yes.
This season, made $3.2 million thanks to name, image, likeness funding. The backup quarterback at the University of Texas made more than $3 million.
It's pretty good.
That's the state of college athletics. And certainly we're not here to say that athletes shouldn't be paid or compensated. But I don't know where this stuff's headed. It's crazy. Next week on the show, we're going to have Jeremy Crabtree from On3 Sports. Used to be a recruiting expert. Now he covers college athletics, the business side, especially the NIL side. So I look forward to talking to him about the state of college athletics and the future of college athletics. But my goodness, these major programs.
If you're making 3.2 and not playing, what if he starts next year and has a great year? How much is he making after that?
I don't know. I don't know how it works.
So you're going to make $6 million a year?
Play. I'm just going to take my $3 million and live off my name Manning. Know I'm going to get picked in the NFL draft, and then have at it.
Why not make more money playing college football?
Just stay in college for 4 years. Make
I'm sure he will.
$15 million. Pack it in.
Won't this kind of improve college sports? Guys will stay longer.
That's true.
Some guys, the best guys, or will they?
Some will, some won't. In the NBA, it's probably tougher because that guaranteed money is going to. I mean, it all is pretty big money, but.
Well, but only there can't be, and we'll ask Jeremy about this next week when we have him on the show. But there can't be more than a handful of college players making that kind of money. Arch Manning was the product of a big recruiting battle and decided to go to Texas. There are certainly some that are comparable to that, but he's a quarterback. He's got the last name Manning, and he was a 5-star recruit. All of that added up, it's $3.2 million apparently.
Well, it's not just, it's not just the men. The women are getting that too. As they typically have to be fairly attractive to earn that money. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, just saying that's how it is. But,
Huh?
Livy Dunn. Look at her. Look at how much money she's probably made. Gymnast at LSU.
Well, I don't know I don't know anything about the gymnasts at LSU.
Well, everybody else does.
I don't.
You don't know Livy Dunn?
No.
Well, you don't.
Well, what are we supposed to know?
She's making a ton of money. Probably more than $3 million.
Was she doing commercials or something?
She does commercials, but she is extremely attractive, and that's, that helps. When it's name, image, likeness, that's pretty strong.
Okay.
I don't know how
Googling
Livy
her?
Dunn got into the conversation.
I'm just
but
saying it's not just, it doesn't necessarily have to, like you said, it doesn't necessarily have to do with talent on the field or talent in your sport.
Tomorrow on the show, we'll do a Wichita Treasures show with Brent Chemnitz. He will join me, and we'll go through that list of the best things about Wichita. And I look forward to that. We always like talking about the best things about Wichita. Jason Duda, have a wonderful birthday celebration with your son tonight at home with you cooking crab legs.
That's right.
And, it'll be wonderful.
It'll be fantastic.
Thanks
All right.
to everyone for listening. We will see you tomorrow.